Let's get ourselves connected. It's gonna get yourself connected.
We've got Jack Kapica on the line from the Globe and Mail. Thanks for joining us, Jack.
Hey, hi, how are you doing?
Great. Well, I hope I'm doing okay because I'm very much into technology. I'm reading something that you've written here recently. You're saying that technology might be killing us?
Yeah, so you're going to die, aren't you?
Yeah.
Maybe I am too. No, what we're referring to here is a study that came out of University College in London that took a look at people who worked on technology, like computers basically, for their job, for their office, and came to the conclusion that they were under tremendous stress, and that in fact they're getting an awful lot of cases of coronary heart disease, which are happening at a much younger age than they thought. People in their 40s tended to be getting it more than people in their 60s, perhaps because the people in their 60s were no longer under that kind of pressure anymore.
They've thrown their computers out the window already.
I think they've thrown their careers out the window and they don't care anymore.
And are they basing the study on past studies they've done on workplace stress?
They did their own study. It was a 12-year-long study involving more than 10,000 civil servants in England, and that to me strikes me as being a very enthusiastic and thorough bit of research. You know, I tend not to like all surveys of this nature, but this one has gone so far, and of course it rhymes completely with everything I've been feeling about technology myself. The question is now, why are people who are working at computers all day long suffering coronary artery disease? Well, what this study did is it connected the stress to the disease, which is something that we've all sort of known before, but there's never actually been any proof. This is the first time we've had it. And secondly, of course, we've all known that sitting in front of a computer all day long and not moving your butt tends to do things like, well, widen your butt, you know, add to your waistline, and therefore, you know, start off with coronary heart disease that way. But in this case, it was the stress part that they connected, which was quite interesting.
Well, it's funny because, you know, we always hear that technology is making things easier for us.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? For those people who are old enough to remember that back in the 60s and early 70s, there was a truism, and everybody absolutely believed it, that once technology came in, and this future shock kind of world, that what would happen is that we would get our jobs done in 1/5 of the time that it took us before, and that what would we do the other 4/5 of our time? Well, of course, we'd have an awful lot of leisure time, and there'd be a leisure time crisis in society. And people were saying that, you know, what are we going to do with this extra time? It never occurred to them, of course, that what would happen is that employers would sit back and say, well, okay, you've done your job in 1/5 the time, so we'll give you 4 times more work to do.
Oh my goodness!
So
well, Jack,
you're no longer doing just what you used to do. You're now doing 4 or 5 times more than you used to do before, and you're suffering the consequences of it. But that, of course, never entered the equation.
Well, I think I'm going to have to throw my BlackBerry away. Jack, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
That was Jack Kapica from the Globe and Mail. You can check out more of his articles and blogs at globetechnology.com.